Leaders in all sectors have been searching for the Holy Grail to keep up and engage employees with the fast pace of societal and environmental change impacting their organizations. People are starved for new approaches to learning that actually stick.
This industrial revolution and Victorian era thing that we could no longer have fun, well, it turns out that's not the way we learn. Humans learn through play.
We've all been there, a lot of time spent on an engagement opportunity that ultimately did not change anything.
Straight reading, straight lecture, straight PowerPoint, straight click, 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 look at the screen and click through all the different pieces of e-learning. Turns out our brains aren't really set up for that type of learning, or certainly not from the retention side of things. What our brain does is like to make analogies. And so when we're in a game or in a simulation, now we're involving all those parts of the brain that we would be using at work. Now I have these experiences I can bring in. And so we start to say, hey, that looks interesting, that looks familiar. And so we start firing from these different areas.
The gaming construct can also create safe spaces critical for the best type of learning to happen.
Inside of games, it's safe to fail. And in fact, fail and fail and fail quickly so that you can start to learn the landscape and then put the strategy together. This doesn't limit your success. And in fact, failure becomes part of learning. On the other side, inside of a game, we can change the power structures, the hierarchies. Those folks who tend to sit back, who we should be listening to, this is an easy and a safe place for them to move forward.
Stories and Wisdom further enhances learning and connections by creating a gamified space not driven by competitive mechanics.
For the most part, something like a leaderboard is not very helpful in promoting culture, promoting diversity and inclusion. Stories and Wisdom pushes someone to think about, to process their response. And then that ultimately creates conversation inside of gameplay. And afterwards, because I've now thought through it, I've given it some thought, then that sticks with me.
Ultimately, new ideas stick with the players because the Stories and Wisdom gaming construct leans on creating critical neural connections in the brain. The old Calvinistic approach that we are only learning when we're focused and working hard on it turns out to be false. Learning continues in the subconscious during a relaxed state. It is only when the brain has this break, in what is called diffuse mode, where the hippocampus can help make those connections in long-term memory. Stories and Wisdom allows for this kind of interweaving, a combination between intense learning during gameplay and relaxed post-reflection in the subconscious, all in an engaging way that makes learning the most effective possible.
Learning doesn't have to be arduous. It doesn't have to be something that has to be endured or we have to force people to do it. Learners deserve better, and Stories and Wisdom is a great example of that. Stories and Wisdom won the overall category, so the best use of gamification in adult learning, not just for the gameplay mechanics, the aesthetics, but more importantly, that there's demonstrated results. That people weren't just having fun, but because of this gameplay, lives were changed.
Stories and Wisdom weave your culture of connection.